we do want to give you an offer. And, that still will include athletic money and a grant, a football grant that you get just for being on the team.
So how much scholarship money did they give you? 25,000? So 100,000 over 4 years?
And then that can only go up too. They said this is the lowest we're going to give you.
I went out into the car, took the phone call, was sitting there, and I was shaking quite a bit. Like, as he was saying, yeah, we think you're a good player. We want to offer you. We want you to come play football. My voice was shaking a little bit. I was shaking. I was like, man, it's finally happening. And then after the first one came in, I mean, like you always said, they just started rolling. Snowball effect.
I knew he could play the next level, but finally somebody else saw it, and I know he was excited, even though he tried not to let me see how excited he was. You could just tell he had that different step, a different look, and like he finally realized it too, that he could play there.
I joined up and you said, hey, you have to sell yourself to the coaches. It's a business.
Your program is every week meet with all the parents. I mean, like Brian and your father and Coach K, we meet and bounce stuff off all the parents. And Dennis is on a meeting every Wednesday, and all the players can bounce stuff off each other. And it was a personal thing. It wasn't, we got you, see you later. It was, we're going to pick you up and we're going to take you to the finish line. And then we ain't even going to leave you then. You want to continue on? We're going to keep going with you. It was just the whole personal thing. His confidence in himself.
Yeah.
Being able to make the calls, or, he would have never walked in or made calls or did any of that if it wouldn't been for, yourself or Brian.
You're listening to the Football Scholarship Podcast, the playbook for parents and athletes who want to secure the best football scholarships possible. From securing a D1 football scholarship in the SEC at Ole Miss at just £5,700, myself, to helping 83% of the athletes I mentor achieve football scholarship offers and 42% going Division I. I've learned countless lessons that I'll be sharing right here with you. Join me and my co-host Brian Overton, who has 15 years of D1 college football recruiting experience, as we interview top experts, successful athletes, and discuss current recruiting trends. Together, we'll help you navigate the recruiting process so you too can achieve your dream of running out of that tunnel in front of 100,000 screaming fans.
Before we met, like what were some of like the, you had decided, hey, like I'm going to go play. It might not be feasible. I get that. But like, what were some of the challenges you faced, and what were some of the things that you were trying to do to get recruited, like before we met?
Really, before we met, not much. I mean, I had those templated emails sent out, but that I would send out sometimes. But other than that, I didn't know anything about how to get recruited. I thought it was, all I knew is that coaches would reach out to you. That's what I thought, because that's what I'd been told.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob. No, go ahead, Rob.
Well, that's all I knew. I knew that they would come to you. If your coach or another coach told a school, you need to go look at this kid, they would come watch you. Now, it's not even that they come to watch your games hardly anymore. You got these camps or this or that, and I mean, they get to see you for 15 minutes maybe, and sometimes those camps are only looking at one or two people, and you got a couple hundred kids there. So this whole new recruiting process to me was completely foreign. So I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. When did you realize that it wasn't like when coaches weren't just going to come to you? Like, when did you realize that?
I mean, there wasn't really a specific time I realized it. I mean, I guess when I joined up with you guys, because at the time I thought, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. They're not reaching out to me. I figured I just had to keep waiting. And then, I joined up and you said, hey, you have to sell yourself to the coaches. It's a business. I said, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense then. Why nobody's talking to me?
Right. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's walk through some of the things you did, man, because Dennis, like, you're like, you, Ty, like, there's so many of you that, like, I really liked working with because you did it. You know what I mean? So what were some of the things that I saw you every Wednesday pretty much, what were some of the things that you did to start getting yourself out there, right? You realized, like, coaches aren't coming to me anymore, right? Walk us through some of the things that you did to get yourself out there.
I mean, obviously started having a Twitter account. I mean, posting at first was a little bit rocky because it wasn't something I was used to. And then,
I'm gonna get the dog's toy.
once I got used to posting, I mean, it kind of just rolled from there. The area recruiter emails, I didn't know it was divided up into area recruiters. So once I got that, it was okay. Sit down every day, 30 minutes before track practice or after track practice, and just sit there and just go to a school, find all their emails, bang those out.
Okay. Well, and then what would you? And then from there, yeah.
From there, it was, if I didn't get responses on the emails, try and start making cold calls, calling them up, messaging them on Twitter, leaving voicemails. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, call them 3-4 times, move on to the next guy, call them 3-4 times. And it was, that summer, selectively chose the camps I was going to, realized if I go to a camp for Mizzou or OU or USC or something like that, they probably already have guys that they're looking at. But if I go to, like a D2 FCS camp, they might have a couple guys they're looking at, but I can get some really good film there and actually talk to coaches face to face.
Yeah. And also,
the camp thing there towards the end, we came up with Brian and everybody, we all came up with, like, hey, contact them first. If you can get a 5 to 10 minute message or a meeting with them, then definitely that's a good camp to go to because you're going to meet with the coach. So that ruled out a lot of those camps.
And having to, like, travel like a chicken with your head cut off to places that would have been a giant waste of time.
Yeah. The only big camp like that I ever went to was the FBU camps in their Top Gun. I mean, I learned a lot from those. It wasn't necessarily I went there as much for recruiting as it was learning from high-level people.
100%. Yeah.
And I could get film from those camps too and such.
I love that. Okay. Now, Rob, I remember you and I had a phone conversation about a year ago. We spoke over the phone first before we met over Google. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but I'm curious, like, you had already, like, worked with this other program. What made you ultimately choose to work with myself and our team? Like, what was it that made you say, hey, I'm going to work with these guys?
Well, the other place was like, okay, we got you. Here's your stuff. See you later. Your program is every week, individual, meet with all the parents even. I mean, like Brian and your father and Coach K, we meet and bounce stuff off all the parents. And Dennis is on a meeting every Wednesday and every Wednesday. And all the players can bounce stuff off each other. And, that it was a personal thing. It wasn't, we got you, see you later. It was, we're going to pick you up and we're going to take you to the finish line. And then we ain't even going to leave you then. You want to continue on? We're going to keep going with you.
Yeah.
It was just the whole personal thing. And we signed the agreement that Dennis just pulled off the refrigerator that me and him signed that your program has. And it's been up there the whole time. But it was
Dude, that's
just the
awesome.
It's the personal thing.
Dude,
I mean,
that
for
is
me,
so awesome, bro. You got it. You
I
got to
kinda-
send me a picture of that.
yeah, for me, it was like kind of egging him towards, hey, sign me up for this. It felt like I not only had somebody who was kind of holding me accountable, but if I didn't, like the way my mind worked was if I didn't do it, I wasn't just letting myself down. It was these people who have put trust in me and say, hey, I think you can do these things that we're asking you to do. And I felt like if I didn't do that, it would be like, I would feel like, oh man, they're taking time out of their day to help me, and I can't even take 30 minutes a day to go send some emails.
Right. Dude, that's all. Yeah, it's like an extra layer of accountability.
Yeah.
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 And, another thing for me, like I said before, it was just the world of recruiting is foreign to me. I mean, like I said, when I did it, they came to me and said, hey, you want to play? Okay. Now it was completely something I didn't even know how to coach him or help him with.
Right. Yeah. And like, since you had a plan, this time around, like you had kind of had a little bit of a plan or templates and stuff like that before, but with us, when you had that plan, how did you feel like the coaching and the accountability really helped ensure that you executed it and that you did it?
I mean, the template I had before, it wasn't a template of what to do. It was you send out these emails and it adds a little thing to the top or bottom. But with you guys, it was, hey, you can do this. This is how long it'll only take, 30, 45 minutes of your day to just do this once or twice every day. Send emails, call people, send DMs. You do that. And then after you get a response, you can do this. And, going through the training and stuff and watching it and seeing how all that stuff just leads one into another, just like stacks on top of itself. It was nice to see everything add up over time.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. So let's talk about when you got your first offer, because that's always the first one is always the best one, right? I know you got better ones after it, but just getting that first one under your belt. What was it like getting that first offer?
I mean, I'll be honest. I was on the phone. I was at I was helping with a school event, and we had set up the call to like discuss it and everything. And I went out into the car, took the phone call, was sitting there, and I was shaking quite a bit. Like as he was saying, yeah, we think you're a good player. We want to offer you. We want you to come play football. My voice was shaking a little bit. I was shaking. I was like, man, it's finally happening. And then after the first one came in, I mean, like you always said, they just started rolling. Snowball effect.
That's awesome, man. How about you, Rob? How did you tell your dad?
I don't remember. I think it was just, hey, this school offered me.
What? That's it? Man, you were shaking when you found out.
Yeah.
What was
Just
it?
send him a screenshot of the email that said, offered to come play for us. I was like, hey, she got offered here. Or, yeah, I think I sent him a screenshot of it.
Bro, you had
sent me
worked
a
so
screenshot.
hard, man, for so long. Rob, what was it like when you found out?
It was a good deal for me because, finally someone had seen something that I had seen, this whole time. Because I started coaching him when he was in kindergarten all the way up through 6th grade. And I knew he could play the next level. but finally somebody else saw it, and I know he was excited, even though he tried not to let me see how excited he was. You could just tell he had that different step, a different look, and like he finally realized it too, that he could play there. And I knew after that it was going to be okay after that, because there was more coming in and there was more coaching from you and Brian. At that time, it was just you and Brian, and it was just kept rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he got me back with the whole not being excited part. I tried to give him a bunch of high fives on the last place I walked into, and he just acted like he didn't see me. So we got even.
Nice. Yeah, man. Hey, listen, getting any kind of college football scholarship is a big accomplishment, and then getting multiples of them is awesome. So let's talk about this last one, dude. Like, tell me about how you got this last one. This is a real deal scholarship, right? Big time college football,
Yeah.
NCAA. Walk me through how you got it.
So
Went to Culver
it's gonna start from the top. We're flying to Culver Stockton for an actual visit. We were gonna land at an airport that was 5 miles out of town, but they didn't have a car that we could drive in, so we had to go land in Quincy, Illinois, which was 20 minutes over. Drove over to Culver Stockton, had a great time. They were super nice, good visit. They showed me they were interested in everything. And, I was pretty much ready. I was like, ready to commit soon. I was like, okay, I kind of think I know where I want to go now. And then driving back, we were going through Quincy, and he was like, they have a college here, don't they? I'm like, yeah, you want to go in? I mean, yeah, I guess so. And then he was like, okay, download your film on the iPad real quick, get it ready, and then we're going to go in. I said, okay.
Because you had a
Probably
system,
with a little more
dude. You had a
attitude than
process
that,
for going in.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
You had a. Go ahead.
Oh, and then we walk in, we can't find the office, so he goes up to a random kid, and it happens to be one of the players, and he, leads us in there, leads me to the D-line coach's office. I go in, I say, hey coach, you busy? He says, no, I got a few minutes. I was like, okay. Do you think you could take a look at my film? I'd really appreciate it. And, he says, yeah, sure, of course. He starts watching. He asked me, what I want to major in, stuff like that, like how big am I? And then he gets to the end of it. He's like, well, take a seat here. Start talking. And then he starts talking. He's like, wait, are any of your parents here? I said, yeah, my dad's out there. He said, okay, let's go talk to him. And then we start talking everything. And he's like, we have an open door policy here. We love, for kids to come in, walk. We'll always take the time to look at the film. I mean, if they took the chance to come here. And so we start talking. He's like, hey, it's really late in the year. We do want to give you an offer. And, that still will include athletic money and a grant, a football grant that you get just for being on the team. And then they call one of their, they talk iZone out. They call one of their graduate assistants in, and he gives us a little tour. We go look at the weight room and everything. We talk about the meal plan. And then I get back here. I call the coach. I'm like, hey, I really liked it. Did some research on their education program. I think I'd like to commit.
Dang, that's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, he
Still,
when he came out, he had a look on his face like, oh. They still gave him money.
so they still gave you a scholarship. So how much scholarship money did they give you? 25,000. So 100,000 over 4 years.
And then, well, that can only go up too. That is they said, this is the lowest we're going to give you.
And the way he was talking to it, he was like, hey, you do pretty good this year. I mean, you stay on the team, maybe make the travel bus a few times. You're going to be pretty much on scholarship next year. He said that money can only go up. That money can never go down. You can only go up from here.
So the smallest amount of money that they're going to give you for your scholarship is $100,000 over
For 4 years.
Yep.
That is the minimum.
The minimum, dude. That's unbelievable, man. Congratulations.
That's not academic, FAFSA, nothing like
That's
that.
not counting the academic side of it or nothing.
Just pure athletic scholarship at a Division II program.
Yep.
Pretty
Pretty good one. They
Pretty
had
good
a
one.
brand new head coach come in last year and still went 6-4. So
Man, I am so proud of you, Dennis. I'm so happy for you, man. The skill sets that you like. Let me ask you this, man. From when we met to you walking in the front door and walking in with zero and walking out with at least $100,000. How do you feel like you've grown over the past year or so? Not just as a football player, but like, yeah, just in general, outside of just football.
I mean, I'm able to put myself out there more. I still don't necessarily like making phone calls, but it's nowhere near as big of a thing as it was a year ago. Like if I need to call somebody, I need to call them. I can ring them up. I can walk up to a person and have a conversation with them. I don't put people ahead of me that I don't know. Like if I see you walking on the street, I don't think I can't go talk to that person. I think I can walk up, talk to that guy, ask him for help, ask him for anything. I can go introduce myself to new people,
awesome.
just, more sociable, more extroverted kind of.
Yeah, and we had a stint there here lately that we've been doing a lot of just show up and say, hey, coach, can you watch my film? He's been doing that lately. And a lot of the coaches were like, hey, I really appreciate the fact that you would just come here not knowing anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can still remember like the first school I walked into, like how I felt walking into his office. Like, it was kind of like when I got my first offer. Voice was a little shaky, all that. And then, this last one, it was walking, hey, coach, hey, appreciate you not kicking me out. You got a few minutes, watch my film. And then be respectful and go from there.
Dude, that's so awesome. Rob, where do you feel like, watching Dennis overcome a lot of adversity, rejection, negativity over the past year? You still hear me? And where do you feel
Yeah, I
like
got you.
Dennis has grown the most?
Chest, shoulders.
Chest, shoulders, yeah. But his confidence in himself.
Yeah.
Being able to make the calls or, he would have never walked in or made calls or did any of that if it wouldn't been for, yourself or Brian saying, hey, why don't we try this? There wasn't always just a cookie cutter thing. And his confidence level, like he said, he can go up in any coach's office now and just say, hey, coach, thank you for not kicking me out. I got my film here. Would you care to take a look at it?
And I mean, it's self-confidence. It's even, more than that. Like, it's a silly little thing, but, get on calls, somebody calls me Trap King, it's a bit of a self-confidence booster. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If a coach sees me walk in, he's going to be, ooh, there's a player. It's just little, being able to make personal connections and, seeing that somebody else cares about how I'm doing. Boost my own self-confidence a little.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, and this last school the school he committed to, you know, he wouldn't have said anything to any other school like, I also long snap, I also played tight end, I also played fullback, but he did at this school, and they said, we need every single one of those positions.
We want athletes, is what they said.
Yep.
That's so awesome, man. So awesome. Like, and I'll say this, like, I'm super excited for you on your football journey, man. And I know you're going to do amazing things because, like I said, you show up no matter what, and that's what it takes. But you sharing some of this other stuff with me is why I do what I do, man. And so I really am thankful that you shared that and then you're open about it, because the football stuff is amazing. But these other skills that you've developed, these are the skills that are going to help you dominate in life, dude, in business and your career and whatever you choose to do. And so that's really powerful, man. I'm super happy for you.
Overcoming adversity is one of the biggest things, because for like a year, he had that D1 school in Minnesota just courting him. Like, even Brian was like, yeah, he's getting offered from this school. We did a visit and came back with no offer, and everybody's like, what in the world? You know, and then, you know, as time went on, they said, well, we're going to go a different way. And the way he overcame that adversity to where he is now is, it was something to watch. I mean, you could see the disappointment, and now the level of excitement he has is just as much.
It worked out. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So what?
And they're closer.
Yeah, it's so awesome, dude. It's so awesome. I'm just curious, Dennis, for my sake and always making things better. And Rob, I'd love your answer too, both of you. But what did you like most about working with us?
I mean, the Twitter aspect, because I felt like at the beginning posting, that was the hardest part for me. You know, you guys saying, hey, post, you know, you can post this stuff. You can post what you're eating that day. You know, do it 3 times a week. You know, being able to ease you into it, and, you know, not like, there's some things, you know, hey, you're just going to have to do this. It's going to suck. You're going to have to sit down and fill out 60 questionnaires. That's not going to be fun. But, you know, then you're going to start easing into the emails and posting and Twitter and all that, the calls. And the training videos, those helped a lot at the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How about you, Rob?
For me, it was because I think the parents, I mean, being able to share knowledge to other parents so they could move it on, and having you guys hold Dennis accountable, because if I tried to tell him something, you know, if I said the sky was blue, he'd say, nope, it's green. But if you or Brian said it's blue, they, okay, it's blue. And just the accountability. And the only thing I ever did was say, hey, did you do your emails? I didn't stand much behind him. And you guys held him accountable, and I didn't have to. And I could focus on the parent aspect of it, and, you know, going through what we should do and what we shouldn't do, and being able to share that with other parents, you know, and have other parents do that, and being able to tell other parents, hey, maybe this school, and you contact this school. They're looking for someone like your kid.
Right.
But
That's awesome.
He's not going to
Okay.
stop here.
Nope. Just the beginning. Just the beginning. All right. So my last question for you before we roll, because we got this upcoming call. For families that are on the fence or that are thinking about or interested in working with us, you know, what would you say?
Well, take the leap, jump off the fence, sit back and, watch the confidence in your child grow and the light bulbs come on, and you being a parent, we don't know this recruiting process anymore. So, trust that yourself and Brian and coach does. And it's different now, even from when you went, because, your dad will tell some stories about when you did it, and it's changed a little bit, but you guys are still on top of that and have moved on with it. And you won't be disappointed if you're undecided to go with this program. You won't be disappointed if you do. I mean, your child's going to play college football. I mean, it's impossible not to, really, is what I think. If they just follow this program. And as parents, it's real easy to follow the program. Be on a call on Tuesday nights and bounce stuff off the other parents. I mean, you're not left in the dark at all. Like I said with the other program we had, it's like, okay, here's your stuff. Here's your template. See you later. And it doesn't happen like that here. I mean, even Dennis going to college now is going to stay with you guys through his first year. And it is like Brian said, it isn't where you start, it's where you end up. So he's going to be looking for that D1 now.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. It's true. This is just the beginning. And like I said, certain players have certain situations, but like I said, with Dennis, there's no doubt in my mind that, whether it's in year 1 or year 2, he's going to do really well and he's going to have that opportunity. So, and Dennis, I know your dream is D1, man. That was mine. It took me 5 years, brother, to get on the field and get a catch in front of 90,000 people. Was my first catch at Arkansas. It took me time, dude, but I did it. And I think it's similar for you. It might not be year 1, year 2, right? It might take some time, but the thing is I know you will show up, and that's all I did different. So that's awesome, dude. So for you, Dennis, the last question I have for you is for kids, for young men, right? That are, like, hey, I'm interested in working with them, but I'm not sure. What advice would you have for them?
Do it, especially, if it's not something you think you would normally do. You might have to swallow your pride a time or two, make a phone call, suck it up, do it. It's going to help you in more than just football. I mean, you're going to grow as a person. You're going to you're going to elevate the people around you, because you'll be, better. You'll talk to people more often. You'll be a more sociable person. I mean, some of the work sucks. Some things, it's not always fun to sit there and fill out questionnaires, but you do it. Not only are you, taking the next step towards playing college football, but you're helping teach yourself when something has to be done, buckle down and do it. You see results. I mean, you see it build up over time. You don't see it in a night, maybe not see it in a week. A month or 2 down the road, you'll say, wow, a lot has happened.
Dude, I love it. I think that's some good advice. So awesome. Dennis, man, I am honored, dude, to have the opportunity to have worked with you. I'm glad that Rob, you reached out, man. and we talked, and you chose to work with me because it's been, I'm really happy that I got to work with you. You're a hell of a kid. You're a hell of a player, and you got a lot of opportunity, and I'm excited to be a part of the journey, man. So keep working hard. We'll be in touch soon here. We'll get you plugged in with the college group, and we're just getting started, brother. So
Yep.
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
time to
it's
rock and roll.
simple, do the work and you get the results. I mean, you get what you want if you listen to you guys and
Do
do
the
the
work.
work.
Show up. That's
Yep.
it. All right, cool. Well, have a great night, guys. I'll let you roll. I'm gonna jump back on that call, but appreciate everything, and we'll talk soon. All right.
All right. See ya.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Football Scholarship Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And for more free resources, or if you're interested in working with us, visit gonextplay.com. Until next time.